Let's begin. This is a story of betrayal, of escape, and, well, the price of trust. Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones who set the perfect trap. Her name was Naomi, his name was Derek. To most they were a power couple. He was a charismatic businessman. She was a quiet artist who supported him in everything. But beneath the surface of their luxurious life was something darker, something cold, calculated, and Naomi was about to discover it. Naomi had been with Derek for 6 years. She helped him build his empire, web design, investments, influence. While he climbed, she sacrificed her career, her time, her youth. She trusted him with everything. She even signed documents, things he said were routine for their shared finances. She believed in love, in him. But Derek didn't believe in love. He believed in control, and control he had. Passwords, finances, her location, her social circle. Until the day she found the folder. One rainy afternoon, as thunder rumbled softly in the distance and raindrops traced patterns down the window, Naomi was tidying up the living room. She moved with a sense of calm, her hands gliding over the shelves, rearranging books and trinkets. But as she reached for a dusty corner, her elbow accidentally nudged Derek's old briefcase, which had been tucked away and forgotten for years. The briefcase tumbled to the floor and, with a soft click, popped open. Naomi knelt down, curiosity piqued, and noticed a hidden zipper she'd never seen before. She hesitated, then slowly unzipped the compartment. Inside she found a plain file folder, unmarked, almost innocuous, but oddly heavy in her hands. She opened it, and her eyes widened. There were documents, bank transfers, statements, and records she didn't recognize. The numbers didn't add up. The dates spanned years. Then, tucked between the pages, she found a prenuptial agreement. Her name was on it, the signature looked like hers, but she had never signed such a document. The realization hit her. It was forged. Alongside it, a stack of printed emails, their subject lines cold and businesslike. Naomi's hands trembled as she flipped through the emails. They were messages between Derek and another woman, intimate, secretive, and full of plans. But this wasn't just an affair. The emails revealed a partnership, discussions of money, assets, and strategies to keep Naomi in the dark. One message chilled her to the bone. "Once the accounts are under my name, I'll cut her off." The words were calculated, heartless. Another line echoed in her mind. "She's so naive and soft, she won't fight back." The contempt was unmistakable. Naomi felt a wave of humiliation and anger. "Let her paint her little pictures," Derek had written, dismissing her passion as if it were nothing more than a childish hobby. Naomi's grip loosened, and the papers slipped from her hands, scattering across the polished floor. The room felt colder, the rain outside now, a distant roar. Her breath caught in her throat. This wasn't just betrayal, it was a carefully orchestrated deception, a plan to erase her from her own life. This was betrayal with intention, premeditated, cruel. But Naomi didn't scream, she didn't cry. Instead, something inside her hardened. She felt a new resolve rising. Quietly, she gathered the documents, her mind racing. Naomi decided in that moment to make a plan, not for revenge but for survival. She would not be erased. She would fight back, but on her own terms. Over the next few weeks, Naomi did what most wouldn't think to do. She stayed, smiled, played the fool. She quietly built and executed her freedom plan. She opened a secret bank account under her maiden name. She made copies of everything in the folder. She reached out to a lawyer friend, quietly. She connected with a financial advisor, secretly. She even installed a hidden camera in her art studio. And most of all, she watched and gathered more evidence. Derek had moved assets, shifted company shares, even planned a fake debt to make her appear financially dependent. She was silent. And silence is where strategy lives. One morning, Derek came home earlier than usual, the rain still glistening on the driveway as he pulled in. The house was quiet, almost too quiet, as if it was holding its breath for what was about to unfold. Naomi was in the studio, surrounded by her canvases and the soft glow of morning light. She looked focused, but there was a calmness about her, a sense of resolve that hadn't been there before. Derek walked in, his confidence barely concealing his impatience. With a smug tone he announced, "We need to talk, things aren't working." He expected her to plead, to argue, to break down. "I'll make sure you're taken care of, if you cooperate," he added, as if he was offering her a favor. Naomi turned to face him, her eyes steady, her voice unwavering. "Actually, Derek, we do need to talk," she replied, her words carrying a weight he hadn't anticipated. There was no fear in her tone, only certainty. Derek frowned, confusion flickering across his face. He was no longer in control, and he could sense it. "But it won't be here," Naomi continued, her gaze unwavering. Suddenly a sharp knock echoed through the house, cutting through the tension like a knife. Derek's bravado faltered as he glanced toward the door, uncertainty creeping in. Two men in crisp suits entered the room, one carrying a briefcase, the other with a badge clipped to his belt. Naomi's lawyer, and a federal investigator. The air shifted, heavy with consequence. Without a word, they handed Derek a thick stack of legal documents, a court order. His assets were frozen. A fraud investigation was officially underway. The reality of the situation hit him all at once. Naomi had traced every detail. She'd uncovered the forged prenup, the secret accounts he thought were invisible, and the fake debts he'd created to trap her. She had built her case methodically piece by piece. She even had audio recordings, proof of Derek's plans to defraud her, captured in his own words. Every lie, every scheme documented and undeniable. Naomi looked him in the eye, her confidence unshakable. "You underestimated me," she said, her voice calm but powerful. "You thought I was just another pawn in your game." Derek was speechless, his mind racing as he realized the depth of her resolve. The chessboard he thought he controlled had turned against him. As he was escorted out of the house, humbled, exposed, and utterly cornered, Derek finally understood. Justice had arrived, and Naomi was no longer the victim. She was the one in control now. The trial was swift, but the journey to that moment was anything but easy. Naomi stood in the courtroom, heart pounding, memories of every sleepless night and every moment of doubt flashing through her mind. But as the verdict was read, relief washed over her. She won everything she was owed, and more. She kept her house, her dignity, and her peace of mind. The weight she'd carried for so long finally began to lift. With her newfound freedom, Naomi launched her art studio, a dream she'd put on hold for years. The space was filled with light, color, and hope. Each brushstroke was a celebration of her resilience, a testament to her ability to rebuild from the ashes. She began to share her story, not to shame those who hurt her, but to empower others who felt voiceless. Naomi spoke to women's groups, support circles, and anyone who needed to hear that healing was possible. Her message was simple: clarity, courage, and the divine can transform even the deepest wounds. She wanted others to know that the power to change their story was within them. Naomi's pain became her platform. She stood on stages, her voice steady, her presence magnetic. She inspired others to rise above their circumstances and claim their own victories. Her silence, once a shield, became her strength. In quiet moments she found wisdom and a deep sense of self-worth that no one could take away. And her betrayal, once a source of pain, became her breakthrough. She walked out of the courtroom not just as a survivor, but as a woman transformed. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever felt the sting of someone you trusted turning against you, know that you are not alone. If you've been lied to, underestimated, or made to feel small, remember, your story isn't over. The pain you feel now can become the foundation of your strength. Let Naomi's journey remind you, no matter how dark it gets, there is always a way forward. You don't have to shout to be heard. You don't need to shout. Your calm, steady resolve is more powerful than any outburst. You don't need to beg. Stand firm in your truth and let your actions speak for you. What you need is clarity, to see your situation for what it is. Move wisely, trust your intuition, and never forget, the truth always finds its way. The universe has a way of balancing the scales. If Naomi's story resonates with you, comment below. 777, I am divinely guided and protected. Let's fill this space with hope and encouragement for everyone on their own journey. Like this video if you believe in divine justice and if you know that every setback can be a setup for something greater. Subscribe for more true stories that empower, awaken, and remind you of your own inner strength. Remember, your pain isn't the end, it's the beginning of your greatest power. The next chapter is yours to write.